Let me see. I might have a video of him saying just that.
And you just heard me call Jimmy alt-left. And I decided that actually is, a pretty good term for them because they live in an alternate reality. There's the real left with Bernie Sanders and AOC and Nina Turner and Ryan Grimm and David Sirota and us, where we're trying to do something constructive in the world, where we're actually trying to pass bills. And yes, we even hold those people accountable as we did in the $15 minimum wage fight.
How did you hold him accountable? This is not neither here nor there, but you didn't hold anybody accountable.
Or try to do something constructive by inventing lies about journalists who go to Syria and challenge the establishment narrative that is used to sustain dirty wars and sanctions, and then making up a fake Me Too allegation. We're trying to do something progressive in the world. That's the progressive. Be a part of our progressive movement where we lie about people who don't want to go along with Trump administration bombings and sanctions.
That's how progressive we are. First we union bust, and then we smear anti people who are calling out imperialism. You don't want to be part of that? How about you want to do a camel toe segment? How about what is it you want to be part of? Here we go.
Bernie Sanders and the Justice Democrats, we help get elected accountable because you need to pass the bills. Because guys, if we don't pass bills, all this is academic. It's about everybody's ego. Who cares about people's ego? Pass the goddamn bills. Right? Nope. We got to tear everybody down. And in our alternate reality,
we got to tear everybody down, call them Russians, say they're working for Assad, say this guy said nice news skirt, say McCarthy can become speaker. We got to tear everybody down. It's say it into a mirror.
The most important thing in the progressive movement is Jimmy Dore's feelings. That is so sad and sick. So they've easily.
Who says that? Who says the most important thing in the progressive movement is Jimmy Dore's feelings? If anything, Jimmy Dore's been a punching bag on the left since he started Forced to Vote in the establishment, and guys like you who are Cenk is the establishment is coming at me. Cenk works for Katzenberg. Katzenberg gave him $20 million. He has a board with billionaires on it. He is the establishment. He's not independent news. He's corporate news, and he is pushing imperialism in Syria. He was always for bombing in Syria. He's smearing guys like Julian Assange and Aaron Mate, who are the anti-imperialists. And so this is just crazy what he's doing. This is nothing. There's nothing left or progressive about Cenk Uygur.
Yeah, and one minimally important thing that we're saying is a requirement for the progressive movement is not lying about people, not slandering people, not trying to ruin the careers of people who, in my case, go to Syria to try to report on a dirty war that this government was involved in. He's saying that we care about feelings. No, we care about facts.
Yeah.
And not trying to lie about people and make up just malicious smears about them to taint real journalism. Like that's what we're trying to defend here. So again, when people say that this is drama and about feelings, it's not about feelings, it's about politics. A, we have to defend ourselves, and B, I don't want to be a part of a leftist movement where it's okay to lie about people if you don't like their politics.
Right.
I'm fine to debate Syria with anybody. I mean, personally, I don't want to be in a leftist movement that supports and whitewashes dirty wars and other sadistic acts around the world. But I'm willing to debate those things. What is not tolerable is inventing lies about people who hold different points of view than you. And that's a simple point that McCarthyites like Cenk can't process in their heads. And hence they have these ongoing meltdowns where they keep just lying because that's all they can do.
In that title of the alt-left. And by the way, if you want to be in there and you want to be, no, those things don't matter. The only thing that matters is the cult of Jimmy Dore, which I can't believe Glenn Greenwald has joined. Jesus, Glenn, you have no self-respect at all. A lot of people have lost their self-respect in this fight. It's really sad to see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of people have lost their self-respect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of other people.
Does Cenk look like a guy who has self-respect?
No.
I mean, look at him. Look at him.
So let's keep going.
What Anna Kasparian did here with that little message, I've not said this about you, I've kept it to myself, but now that you're criticizing us, that's all gonna change. That is grotesque. That is ethically repugnant, but it is also commonplace in liberal left politics.
So he's talking about the DM she sent me that was threatening me. Hey, you've been criticizing our bad journalism. Well, guess what? I'm going to weaponize this hashtag #MeToo against you and fabricate a phony charge. And he said that's despicable. He just said that. That's the worst thing you can do. And he's right. And watch what Cenk says.
Commonplace in liberal left politics. So apparently we're all guilty. Brett Kavanaugh is innocent, Jimmy Dore is innocent, but Anna is grotesque and morally repugnant. Guys, you all get to make a choice here. And if you say, yeah, I agree with Glenn, go have at it, Hoss. But it says something about you if you can't tell who's the morally repugnant one in this story.
Oh, we can tell.
By the way, again, with the she's grotesque, go ahead.
The more serious he gets, the funnier he is. The more he straight faces this shit, the funnier it is. It is funny. Here's some more.
She's grotesque, and when I say she, I mean the version of the lie that she's telling, not the version of the lie that I'm telling. Because my version of the lie contradicts her version of the lie, so let's go with her version of the lie for this little segment of my monologue. Oh, man.
People who have no evidence just throwing around these words trying to attach it to that person. That person is a groomer, that person is an abuser, that person harasses, that person is emotionally toxic, and instantly their reputation is destroyed. No evidence is required.
No evidence. He said it over and over and over again, full well knowing there was tremendous evidence that the guy he's defending had already said it. Whatever Glenn was, he's certainly not a journalist anymore.
So this is a big push. This is a big lift. You got to convince people Julian Assange is not a good journalist. You got to convince people that Glenn Greenwald is not a good journalist, and you got to convince people that Aaron Matei is not. This is a big heavy lift, Cenk. I'm at tip of the hat. So this is Blue Check Beth put this on. It's called Cenk vs. Cenk. And so what Cenk is doing, and Cenk and Anna are doing right now, he's going to describe. Watch.
So when I talk to progressive commentators, or I argue back and forth them, and people I like a lot in the past, right? Mm-hmm. And I still like them, and we're going to get over it and stuff. But as I see them say things are sexist when they know for a fucking fact it ain't sexist, right? And they make charges they know for a fact aren't true. It's the one thing if a friend of mine who's not knee deep in politics makes a charge that he just heard that somewhere. He heard it on TV. That's we'll straighten that out eventually, right? Mm-hmm. But if someone kind of knows but is playing dirty pool, that's different.
Okay, can I?
Well, look, the sexism charges. Okay, here's how I feel about them. Okay. I don't give a fuck what you think, okay? Because I already know you're playing dirty pool. So if you made a legitimate charge and say, "Hey, Cenk, you see how you phrase that's an issue?" I'd go, "Oh my God, you're right. I'm sorry, I didn't think about that. That's such a great point, and we'll fix that going forward, right?" And I know you played that kind of dirty pool, right?
Yep.
And then you're gonna turn around and tell me, "Oh, now you better bow your head. Otherwise, wait. Otherwise, I'll smear you as a sexist. Come at it. Come and get a piece, motherfucker."
He's describing exactly what they did to me. Hey, you better bow your head. You better quit your criticism, or we're going to smear you. That's exactly what they did. Anna Kaspirin sent me a DM saying, you've been running your mouth, and now we're going to smear you for it. We're not going to ever answer back the charges you made. We're just going to smear you. Hey, Cenk. So, and then he goes, says this.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that sexist?
Let me add to that.
I mean, I don't want, because we mentioned fucking mothers. I don't know. Maybe that was sexist. Maybe they'll talk about how that was sexist.
I'm sure
Fuck
they
you.
will.
And the horse you rode in on.
If they might be ignorant on some policy.
Cenk's talking about horse fucking again. You know, that's his groove. So I wanted to show that to you. I mean, he's just like Trump. For everything they do, there's a video that Cenk did worse. Every accusation they hurl at someone, there's a video they did worse. And there it is. There's Cenk Uygur telling you, and here he is talking about fucking mothers, and you see my hand, I'm like, oh my God, would you shut up?
So I don't know if Glenn lied on purpose so that he could protect Jimmy from further sexual harassment claims. I don't know of any. I hope he didn't do it. I hope to God he didn't do it, but God, I don't know anything about Jimmy. I don't know anything about Glenn. I thought I knew these guys, and apparently none of us ever knew them at all. Monsters.
Monsters.
So
me and Glenn are monsters.
So now, as you saw there in the earlier clip, Glenn said, she didn't speak out. It's basically, he seems like he's blaming her. He does the standard caveats in the video. I'll be way more fair than him. So in the video, he says a couple of times, yeah, it happens with women. Sometimes it happens with women that they don't say anything about sexual harassment, they come out later. But in the case of Anna, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. What do I do? Would I watch it? No, I didn't watch it. So
what?
In case you were unaware of it, here's Jimmy again admitting.
She got humiliated in the middle of the newsroom, and I did it.
With the joke. The joke was nice news skirt, and everyone laughed. And the next line I said when I said, and I did it, and so I felt bad, which is why I apologized. That's the part he cut out. That's the part.
Wait, Jimmy, did he really just play a 2-second
clip?
How long is that clip?
What is that, 2 seconds? Yeah.
He basically be saying, I did it. Jack's like, the smoking gun. We got him. He admitted it.
Yeah.
He admitted it.
So here we go.
Glenn, you call yourself a journalist? Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
He's calling Glenn Greenwald pathetic here.
Oh, this is sad. This is getting
funny.
Sad.
This is good stuff. This is good stuff. And Cenk delivers it with a straight face, which is the key to comedy. And he's doing it. He's amazing. There's more. Come on, this is fun.
Okay, and by the way, they say, and this is another thing that I have to confess drives me crazy. Oh, Young Turks and Jimmy are in this fight and it's a soap opera. We didn't start this. We don't do this on the regular show. We do this once a month after they've piled up all of these lies, all these falsehoods, etc. They do it every day, all day long. That's all they do. Guys, wake up. If you're not actually part of the alt-left, wakey.
Alt-left.
When's the last time they actually did anything constructive? All right.
Force the vote.
So now,
I didn't tell you something. I didn't tell you this, and I'll confess it now on your show. I'll break some news. We didn't tell you, but Glenn and I were in Los Angeles, and we actually infiltrated the Young Turks office, and we told Cenk and Anna to call me an asset of the Russian government. So we started this whole thing. We got Cenk to do this. It was all my plan. So when Cenk says he didn't start that, he's right. I got Cenk to call me a Russian asset and for Anna to claim that I'm working for dictators. And Glenn was in on it too. I'm sorry we didn't tell you.
I also got Anna to say that I wasn't a good person. I was a grifter, and I shouldn't be trusted around Force to Vote. And then I also told Cenk to say McCarthy could become speaker around Force to Vote. So there's a lot of things that he is right. We did start it. We started it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, here we go.
Okay, and by the way, they say, and this is another thing that.
Wait, hang on. So he goes, when toxic people attack you online, you're put in a damned if you do, damned if you won't situation. They make up horrible accusations and outrageous lies about you. If you don't respond, people start to believe it's true. You didn't say anything. If you do respond, well, that's great. You retweeted it. You said, Cenk, thanks so much for speaking out against toxic people who make up horrible accusations and outrageous lies. I've been dealing with a McCarthyite smear artist who claims that I'm paid by the Russians and refused to apologize. Any advice on how I should respond? Perfect.
I don't know what to say.
They said Aaron Mate yelled at me. And so
Aaron Mate lied. Aaron Mate. Everyone cares what Aaron Mate has to say, right?
Okay.
The guy who denies that Syrian children were killed with chemical attacks. Yeah.
And
fuck
gets
Aaron
paid by
Mate.
the.
Fuck you.
Gets
Anyway,
paid
let's
by the
move on.
Russians.
Let's end the freaking pod. I can't.
Okay, see, that's what happens.
I can't
You
stand.
just
I
saw
can't
it.
stand that guy, and I can't stand.
So that's enough.
And all they had
Going
to do
forward,
was
guys.
apologize.
All I had to do was say, hey, we
apologize.
We got upset. We
Yeah.
lost
Why
our
is
heads.
that so hard? I don't care if they don't like me, if they don't like my journalism. That's fine. I'll live without their approval. But I can't tolerate being slandered. And I asked for an apology. I wrote them a polite email asking for an apology, and they just ignored it because these people are not dealing in the reality that we're dealing with. They have an agenda. They don't want our kind of point of view to exist in the left, and that's why you have to make up lies to try to smear us and cancel us with McCarthyism. And that can't be tolerated. And because they are so committed to that for whatever reason, I don't know what goes on in their demented minds, they just won't own up to what started this, which is them slandering me. And this leads to this continued thing where they just keep doubling down on lies. And personally, you know, like, I don't like hearing their voices and talking about them, you know, but we will continue to correct them as long as they continue to insist on lying about us.
Yes. Let me see.
Buyer beware. When you read Glenn or you watch him, you have no idea what he's hiding from you. I mean, if he could hide this overwhelming evidence and never mention it and keep saying, I don't know if it happened, but implying that it didn't happen. Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. Even if you agree with his interpretation of Jimmy's comments, and if you say, hey, go get him, Jimmy, we'll look up everybody's skirt and do it at work, it's great, I love it. And you're right wing or left wing, it doesn't matter, right? But you can't say that Glenn didn't know what happened. Glenn knows exactly what happened.
Jimmy, can I say something about Glenn here? So Cenk sits in a multi-million-dollar studio, got $20 million from DNC donor Jeffrey Katzenberg, doesn't have to do any journalism. He just sits in front of a camera, you know, and reads what his producers write and whatever comes into his demented mind. And doesn't even have to really be successful, because like you look at their numbers, and again, as I say often, the people watching the Young Turks, at least according to YouTube, it's less than the number of people who are waiting for your pre-show live stream in your chat room. Okay, so obviously, Cenk doesn't have to do very much here. And then he goes and tries to disparage the work of one of the most important journalists of this generation, Pulitzer Prize winner, and whatever. Put aside all of Glenn's journalistic accomplishments, you know, like basically breaking the story in Brazil that got Lula freed, exposed a massive criminal scheme inside the fascist Brazilian government that was trying to lock up the opponents of the establishment, especially Lula, and expose the NSA surveillance program. He's done so many stories. There's also the fact that what Glenn lives under, which is serious violent threat. A good friend of Glenn and his husband's, Dave Miranda, was a lawmaker in Brazil who was assassinated. And they live under the constant threat of assassination. They have for a long time. They have to travel with security. And so for Cenk to come on TV in his air-conditioned studio in Los Angeles and try to disparage Glenn's journalism and minimize the real sacrifices that Glenn makes for, you know, the country he lives in, Brazil, and just for the cause of like truth and accountability around the world, like the level of narcissism there and just complete ignorance about anything to do with actual progressive values in politics is stunning.
I agree with you 100%. It is stunning. Let's see what this is.
Well, obviously it's hard to tell who's telling the truth here. But lately, I have to confess that WikiLeaks has not had an astounding record.
So this is when Cenk smeared Julian Assange, and you can tell he doesn't believe what he's saying, that he's been given a script and he's signaling to donors or something. But you can tell that he doesn't believe anything he's saying here as he smears Julian Assange. The idea is that Julian Assange is now working for Donald Trump.
The way that Assange seems to be backing Donald Trump over and over and over again, it makes me very seriously question Assange's efforts to actually be a journalist and not to be a partisan. And I get it. I get why he hates the Democrats. They're trying to put him in prison. Okay,
right. But
at the same time,
so are Republicans. Let's be clear about that.
And now the Republicans are too, and they have been in the past. But it seems like Assange has picked a side, and look, it makes me question his reporting, and so that's the situation we're in now. So now is he just leaking things that he gets, and no matter what? In which case I would respect that. Or is he selectively leaking based on his political motives? Now that suspicion is out there and it's real and it's possible, well, now I'm concerned that it can't be trusted.
So there's Julian Assange, Glenn Greenwald, the two most consequential journalists of our generation, and then now award-winning anti-war journalist, independent award winner, Aaron Mate. So this is a big lift for him.
I don't know if Jimmy was always this way, and now I'm worried that he was, right? and I didn't see it. Glenn, I thought was a great journalist. And
Oh my God.
either he wasn't, and all those old stories, I have no idea what he hid and didn't hide, right? Or he changed. Now it's up to you guys again, one last time, to make the decision. Who changed for the better? Who changed for the worse? All right.
It's up to you to decide.
But for now, this is the end of this chapter, and it's certainly the end of any respect I had for Glenn Greenwald, who's become a very, very sad embarrassment.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun.
Yes.
Those
But
are
for
super
now,
fun.
this is the end of this.
Those are super fun. They're super fun. What? Anyway.
Guys, like, can we just say, maybe hold Glenn in our thoughts for a second? Because he's been through a lot before. You know, he was threatened with prosecution in Brazil.
Yeah.
During the NSA scandal, he couldn't travel out of fear of being arrested. But nothing compares to Cenk saying that he's lost respect for Glenn. I mean, this has got to be devastating for Glenn. And let's hold Glenn Greenwald in our thoughts as he tries to recover from
I don't know how he's going to
Cenk
get
losing respect for him. This is going to be hard. This is going to be a tough one.
very hard.
A tough one.
Caitlin
By the way,
Johnstone.
Jimmy, you know, like that clip you played of them talking about Assange,
Yeah.
right? And there's like that on the screen behind them. It says campaign hacks,
Yeah.
right? In big letters. They should take out the word campaign and just keep the word hacks there.
That's right.
In front of Cenk and Anna when they talk. And by the way, they were making those claims about Julian Assange in response to the dumbest story of all time in The Guardian by Luke Harding, a serial fabulist who came out with this article in The Guardian saying that Julian Assange met with Paul Manafort.
Trump's
It was the
campaign
dumbest
manager.
story.
Trump's campaign manager said that Paul Manafort had
Yeah.
visited him at the Ecuadorian embassy 3 times, but there
Three
was
times.
there's no photos or video of it, and there was
Yeah.
no documentation. But they printed the story in the Guardian, and the Young Turks repeated that story breathlessly as I debunked it in their same studio earlier that day.
Yeah.
And they just repeated it.
Yeah.
So here, let me.
embarrassing.
Imagine if all the people yelling that it's time to move on from TYT smearing Aaron Mate as a secret agent of foreign dictators had from the very beginning just spent all that energy telling Cenk and Anna they need to retract and apologize for discussing it. Because a lot of people are going around saying, oh, would you stop talking about this? Oh, please. And she says, well, imagine if all those people yelling about that would have just told Cenk and Anna to fucking knock it off. We could have stopped this a long time ago. If left indie media had simply united along the very simple and obvious, no, we don't accuse leftist anti-war journalists of being secret agents for foreign governments, this would have resolved very quickly and wouldn't have gotten anywhere near as vicious as it did. TYT defenders have been trying to make this about Jimmy Dore because A, it's easier than defending what they did, and B, because Jimmy was the most prominent voice doing what everyone should have been doing and pushing for a retraction. He shouldn't have had to stand alone there.
Exactly.
That's really the entire story of what this has been about from the very beginning. TYT smeared a journalist as a secret agent of foreign governments, refused to retract or apologize, and then started using blackmail to silence those criticizing them. Don't let them complicate this. So that's correct. Thank you, Caitlin. She's so great with words. And thank you, Aaron, for being here. I want to end this. Our live shows are back. August 4th, we're in Burbank. August 7th, we're in Chicago. We're going to Portland. We're going to Boston. We're going to everywhere. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for tickets.